Inside China's $14 trillion green revolution, achieving net zero emissions by 2060. You may have heard the phrase, every cloud has a silver lining. Well, in the case of China, the literal clouds of greenhouse gases might be hitting their highest point sooner than the folks in Beijing even thought possible. That's a silver lining that offers us a glimmer of hope in the battle against climate change. Now, there's no denying that China plays a double role in this global drama. They're both the villain and the hero when it comes to the Earth's transition to sustainable energy. Sure, China might seem like the villain, right? Leading the world in carbon dioxide emissions, contributing to over 30% of global carbon emissions in 2020. It might seem like the arch nemesis of Mother Nature, but hold your horses. It's not all smog and mirrors. President Xi Jinping has stirred the plot, making a jaw-dropping declaration. China will amplify its Paris Climate Accord goals, and green is the new red for this revolution. So you must be wondering, how does China plan to tackle its Goliath of carbon emissions, and how far along are they in this journey? Well, let's find out. Now, even with a heavy focus on improving its renewable energy infrastructure, China's appetite for fossil fuels remains dinosauric, gulping down twice as much as Uncle Sam. And here's the kicker, over half of China's energy diet is coal, the bad boy of fossil fuels, spilling more carbon dioxide than oil or natural gas. But wait, there's a plot twist. The Chinese government is on a mission, a seek to reach carbon neutrality by 2060 and peak CO2 emissions by 2030. Our friend Liu Hongqiao believes that accomplishing these goals could spare the planet from an extra 0.2 to 0.3 degrees Celsius of warming. Now you might be thinking, is China doing enough? Moreover, with its current carbon output and past emissions, is it a fair contribution? The big question is, can the country that engineered the Chinese economic miracle over the last 30 years master the decarbonization miracle in the next 30 years? If China is serious about its pledge to achieve carbon neutrality by 2060, it needs a game changer, a fresh way to fuel its economy, which right now is essentially a carbon-heavy fossil fuel fiesta. And the solution they find could be a saving grace for China and other nations battling the same carbon beast. To keep the average temperature rise due to human activity below 1.5 degrees Celsius, the world needs to limit its carbon dioxide creation to no more than 350 gigatons. As of 2022, we're pumping out about 33 gigatons into the atmosphere each year, with China single-handedly contributing a whopping 28% of total emissions. Let's put this into perspective. The People's Republic of China has an annual energy consumption rate of 88 exajoules. That is equal to 2.1 billion tons of oil and accounts for 1/5 of the use on a worldwide scale. Worse, 2/3 of that total originates from the combustion of fossil fuels. Oil revs up the engines of China's estimated 360 million cars. Gas and coal keep homes toasty, and coal is the star player in China's energy production. Just a mere 25% of total energy consumption in China is from generating electricity. So, what's the grand plan for President Xi? He needs to supercharge the electricity production with wind and solar power. This can be achieved without releasing carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. But it's not just about cutting emissions. It's also about boosting efficiency. Did you know electric engines are 3 to 4 times more efficient than their fossil fuel guzzling counterparts? And let's not even get started on LED lights, which use a fraction of the energy of kerosene lamps. According to the Energy Transitions Commission, the brainchild of UK's former financial regulator Adair Turner, if China takes the road of electrification and makes efforts to ramp up productivity like enhancing building insulation, it could power its economy by 2050, consuming 25% less energy than today. But such a drastic makeover isn't cheap. A full-on decarbonization plan could cost around 1% of China's GDP annually by 2050. During that time, China's GDP would grow at an annual rate of 5%, equating to nearly $10 trillion. So, it's quite a journey China has embarked on, a $14 trillion green revolution. Will they turn the tide in the battle against climate change? Installing solar panels and wind turbines in large quantities is the easy part, but the golden sun and gentle breeze can be elusive companions. So we need robust energy storage solutions, and that's where high-capacity batteries come into play. And then we have industry giants like steel and cement manufacturing that can't easily switch to electricity. Technologies to pluck carbon from these processes are being developed, but they'll need a boost from government funding. The same goes for producing carbon-free hydrogen fuel from water electrolysis. Yet, it's not only about harnessing renewable energy sources or developing cleaner processes, but also about crafting a holistic energy strategy. It involves an energy-efficient approach across the board, from manufacturing to transportation to daily life. Such an approach could minimize waste, optimize resource utilization, and create a more sustainable and self-sufficient energy infrastructure. And hey, let's be real here. There is also the possibility that the evaluation provided by the ETC is overly optimistic. According to the International Energy Agency, even if we give climate change our full attention, China will still require a whopping 83 exajoules of energy by 2040. If we continue on this path, China's annual consumption could top 120 exajoules. To pull this off, we're talking about an investment of $14 trillion in power and transportation, says the World Bank. But with this, we'd see China's economic growth and emissions levels moving apart more quickly than industrialized nations. China can leverage its leadership in low-carbon technologies, owning a third of the world's total wind power capacity and a quarter of its solar capacity. President Xi Jinping himself has been vocal about his goal to practically eliminate pollution, even amid concerns about securing vital resources for the Chinese economy. China has reduced coal use for energy and power generation by 22% and 15% since 2009, but coal still fuels about 56% of primary energy today. However, by 2025, less than half of the energy will come from coal. In certain projections, wind and solar could supply up to 96% of energy. By 2060, China will rely on non-fossil energy for 80% of its needs: wind, solar, hydro, biomass, and nuclear. So, who holds the key to China's decarbonization? Let's say it's the provinces and cities. We're already seeing a decoupling of GDP and emissions in key regions like Shanghai, Guangdong, and Beijing. Sichuan province has pledged no new coal-fired power stations. However, areas like Tianjin, Hubei, Jiangsu, and Anhui have only seen a moderate disconnect between GDP and emissions. This emphasizes the importance of consistent action across the nation. This enormous feat can be achieved only with collective efforts, where every province, city, industry, and individual contributes towards a common goal. Every piece of the puzzle matters, from major policies and technological innovations down to the everyday actions of ordinary citizens. It's a symphony of efforts where each instrument needs to play its part to create a harmonious transition toward a sustainable future. And, well, China's climate plan goes beyond decarbonization. It recognizes that tackling climate change requires revamping the energy system and socio-economic fabric. It's about putting China on a path to high-quality economic development. There's been public pressure, too. After a series of street protests and online discussions about city air quality from 2007 onwards, the Chinese government declared war on pollution in 2013 following 3 severe air quality crises. The government recognizes the dual benefits of addressing air pollution and climate change and takes these seriously. So, while economic growth is a driving force, maintaining social order is equally important. That brings us to the heart of the matter. Can China truly turn over a new leaf and leap from the world's biggest carbon emitter to leading a $14 trillion green revolution? Will the strides it's taking towards sustainable energy, battling pollution, and maintaining social order be enough to achieve net zero emissions by 2060? We've unpacked the evidence, but the final judgment is yours. What do you think? How do you see China's green journey unfolding? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. That's it. Leave a like and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell. Goodbye.